many of y'all know what the difference is between a coach that's struggling and making $500 a month versus a thriving coach making $50K a month? How many of y'all know exactly what that is? Let me give you a hint. It's not that they have a certificate. It's not their experience. And it's definitely not their coaching skills. Now, I'm going to tell you, this right here is much simpler. It is something that is just sitting right in front of you and makes life so much simpler. Yet 90% of all the coaches completely ignore what it is we're talking about. See, last week I had a conversation with my partner, DJ J-Rock. He's a DJ, but he runs a online radio station. We were sitting there talking about back in the day how we had our group, the Spliff. We was making music and how we were struggling. See, we had the instrumentals, we had the beats, we had the production. We thought we had the management team, but that wasn't it. We thought we had a clear fan base. We had that, but we was barely making headway in our business. So when we both decided to go our separate entrepreneurial journeys, we both seemed to have ran into the same struggles. We was barely making enough money to make ends meet. And then I asked him, I said, hey, I asked one simple question. I said, yeah, Jay, when was the last time you had a real conversation with someone in your audience? Did y'all hear that? Not the question that I asked, but the silence. See, the silence was deafening because not only did I ask him that question, I asked myself that question. When was the last time I had a real conversation with someone I'm coaching or someone in my audience? Now, after this conversation, it was a couple months later that this happened. We were sitting down a couple weeks later, excuse me. The process became to where what I'm about to share with you today was implemented. And once it got implemented, not only did the revenue for Amplified Pod and Amplified Digital go up, the Legacy Builders Network begin to take shape. So as you sit here on the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast, you need to understand it started with the understanding that one critical truth about your audience engagement was never there. And so you have to sit back and you have to ask yourself, when's the last time you had a conversation with someone in your audience? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to walk you through today. So just sit back and relax because today's episode, you're going to understand exactly why audience engagement isn't just nice to have. You got to understand that this is the bloodline to everyone's successful coaching business. Yeah. Y'all ready? Let's do this. Hey there. Welcome back to the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast. I am your host, Mr. Anthony Porter. I'm here to help you build your coaching business that doesn't just survive, absolutely thrives. If you're new here, welcome to the family. This show is all about giving you the real, practical strategies that successfully coaches have used to build a sustainable, profitable business. No fluff, no theory, just actionable insights that you can implement today. And if you're a returning listener, thank you. Thank you for being here. Your support means the world to you, boy. And I love having you and hearing from you. So let's get ready, man. Y'all ready? All right. We are about to dive deep into something that can literally make or break your coaching business. Now, as the host of the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast, this is what we talk about. We talk about all of the above. We talk about content creation, coaching, podcast hosting, building a podcast, all of this. But it's all about me coaching you to be the best version of you. Now, for me, having a coaching business and my audience engagement, it goes hand in hand. And I know what you might be thinking. Well, great, another episode about social media. But this isn't about posting, the quotes on Instagram. This is about building a genuine relationship that converts into paying clients, creating a raving fan base, and building a business that sustains itself. So here's what I need you to do. I need you to make sure you got your notebook out because we're about to get real tactical with this particular episode. So before we dive in, again, welcome to all the newbies. If you're an old head, I'm glad you still rocking with me. You know what you need to do. So newbies, listen to what I'm about to say. Subscribe to the podcast. Download this episode so you can go back and if you miss something, you can go back and, rewind and write it down just to get the insight. But what's most important is leave us a review. Leave us a review so this can help other solopreneurs, other coaches, other content creators, other course creators be reached with this information. Just like you, we're building a community, and that community is going to be a thriving community. So subscribe, leave a review, follow us on IG at the Solopreneur Chronicles PC, and also follow me on IG at I am Anthony Porter. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get to one of the topics of the day, and that is the engagement crisis in coaching. See, we got to start with that harsh reality. See, most of y'all coaches are invisible. You're creating the content, and then you post it, which is what you're supposed to do. But have you ever sit back and wonder why nobody is buying from you? They're speaking to an empty room and call it marketing. See, when you are posting, and you might have thousands of followers, but do you have the right followers to help? See, here's what's really happening. See, in the world where everyone's a coach, your potential clients are drowning in options. They don't need another person telling them what to do. They need someone who understands them, who connects with them, who makes them feel like they are seen. The engagement is so important. See, in this day and age, most people want to feel like they are a part. Growing up, for me, that was when you was being hands-on. Now, this is where most coaches get it wrong. They think engagement means getting more likes on their posts, having followers respond to their stories, and getting comments on their content. But real engagement, the engagement that we're talking about, the kind that builds a thriving business, is about creating genuine connections that lead to trust. So you basically want to create something to where you have become the authority figure. And by you becoming the authority figure, it leads to more sales, which leads to their transformation. Because see, we're not selling a product. It's the transformation we're trying to get them in. Somebody over here is struggling in life. The transformation for them is how can they generate more leads to generate more sales to get out of this dependent of being in debt. So we got another partner. His name's William. He's a coach. Like most of the people that I run with, we're all coaches, but we're coaches in different niches. All right. Now, William has about 50K followers on LinkedIn, but he's only making like $3,000 a month. And I asked him, have you paid attention to old girl up the block, Stephanie? She's got 800 followers and she's pulling in 25K a month. And he's like, so what's the difference? I mean, like, I got all the followers. And I told him, I said, Stephanie knew every single person in her audience. You know every single person in your audience? Do you know who you talk to? Do you know who you are following? She remembered their struggles. She celebrated their wins. She treated each one like a brother or sister. She treated each one like they was a real human being. She never treated them like a number. And that's where we as coaches got lost in the shuffle. So how do we fix that? Well, there are 3 pillars of profitable engagement that we need to take a look at. So ask yourself this question. What does real audience engagement look like? Is it built on the 3 pillars? These 3 pillars is what that looks like. So the first pillar is a deep understanding. It's non-surface level demographics. Most coaches think that they know their audience because they can raffle off the demographics. 35 to 45 years old woman, middle-aged man, middle management, married with kids, not understanding that they have categorizations that they need to pay attention to just as well. So the real understanding is knowing what keeps them awake at 3 o'clock in the morning. Why do they complain about their spouse after a bad day? So basically what I'm saying is, what do they secretly dream about that they're afraid to say it out loud? What they've tried before that didn't work. And then what story? What story they tell themselves about why they're stuck? See, these are the things that you need to know. Now, you got to develop this understanding, right? So the first thing is have a natural conversation. Man, don't even overthink. You can't stress this enough. Get on the phone. Get on a call. Not a sales call. Get on a call just to say, hey, welcome to the community. It's a thriving community. We just want to welcome you, man. Get in, enjoy yourself. I just wanted to chop it up with you. We ain't selling nothing, but ask them questions like, what are your biggest challenges you're facing right now? What have you tried to solve before? Have you tried to solve this before? Like, what have you used? Another question that you might want to ask is, what would your life look like if this problem was solved? And then the major question is, what's holding you back from taking this particular action. Now, second, you have to be able to, the Russell Brunson thing is amazing. You have to be able to lurk with a purpose. So what you need to do is you need to join some Facebook groups, join some communities, join Reddit, and see where they hang out at. See where your peoples is at. Don't post anything. Just listen. Take notes. What do they complain about? What questions keep coming up? What language do they use to describe their problem? Once you get an understanding of that, then you got to do the third thing. The third thing in this particular process is you have to take a survey of your existing audience regularly. Even if you only got 50 people on your email list, ask them questions. What's working? What's not? Why do you need help? What do you need help with? And why do you need help? So those are some of the questions that you need to ask. Now, let's get into pillar number 2. Pillar number 2, we're going to talk about consistent value. First, communication. Most of us messed this up. I did. If it hadn't been for Russell Brunson and a ton of other people, I thought value meant giving away the best stuff for free. But that's not value. That's deception. All right. The real value is about meeting the people that you are trying to help. You want to take them to the next logical step, but it has to be about being useful, not just about being informative. And we fall short with that, man. Like, the framework is the value method. I call it VAL. You have to be vulnerable. So share your own struggles and failures. You have to be actionable. Give the people something they can do today. And then you have to be logical. Make sure your advice builds on itself. Then we get over to the useful section. Focus on the problems and not the solution. And then lastly, encourage helping them believe change is possible. Now, here's what that looks like. Instead of posting, mindset is everything. Change your thoughts and change your life. I used to think I wasn't smart enough to run a business. My handicap in my mind was holding me back. Every time I made a mistake, I blamed it on dyslexia. I tell myself it's the handicap. I was telling myself I wasn't cut out for this. It took me more than 3 to 5 years to realize every successful entrepreneur makes a mistake. I would hear this over and over and over, but I could never put that in my head because I'm being dependent on the fact that as a kid, I got diagnosed with dyslexia. What I had to learn is not to let the mistakes define me. I had to learn to let that go. So I came up with this simple exercise that helped me reframe failure as feedback. I have a journal that I put together that helps me track all my failures so I know exactly how to move forward and everything else. See the difference in what's going on when I make a post like this on IG. The generic motivation, everybody does that. That second post, I was vulnerable because I let you into my world. I gave you something actionable and direct addresses to my common fear. Now, to be in that situation, I had to let go and relinquish a whole lot because I didn't want people to know. I was too embarrassed. So when I let go of the common fear, everything started to take a little bit more of shape than I could possibly imagine in the beginning. Now, pillar number 3, you got to have a genuine relationship building process. And this is where the magic really happens. And trust me when I say this, most coaches give up because it feels slow. Building relationships is about network. I don't know if if those who grew up around my era, you would go to networking events. Now you get on IG and you go live and that's your networking. But you have to be able to collect the contacts. It's all about being genuinely interested in the people and their success. So here's a relationship building system. First, the 5-5-5 rule. Every day, spend 5 minutes each with 5 different people in your audience doing something personal. Every day. Reply on the Instagram story, comment on their LinkedIn post, send them a voice message congratulating them on a win. But we ain't pitching jack. We not selling. We just trying to connect. Second, the memory bank. Keep notes on people in your audience. When someone mentions a soccer game, a jiu-jitsu match, a football game, remember it. Remember, Tom shares that he's launching a new product. Follow up and ask how it went. You want to listen. We don't want to get involved with anybody. We're so secret. We gatekeepers. It's about being human. This is what's wrong right now. Nobody wants to communicate. It's not being manipulative, man. It's about getting to know the people in your audience, the people you're going to help. Get to know them. All right. So listen, I didn't want to say this because I didn't have. I just had a conversation a couple weeks ago with a guy. He broke down I'm not going to give his name because I don't have permission to give his name. We've never met in person. We've met through a school group. But after that conversation, I feel like I've known him for 4 or 5 years. Cool. He's cool as all outdoors. He's had his ups and downs. We've all had ups and downs, but he was willing to open up to share his ups and downs. And that's one of the most vulnerable situations because his situation is very, very, very deep. All right. So by him opening up, we chopped it up. I got some stuff for him, and I think he's going to be appreciative of it. I hope he's appreciative of it, and I hope it helps him out. The same way with another client. Same situation. Just one's male, one's female. Dope. Sister's doing it big, but she has some things that kind of sets her back. And that's okay. She's human. But me chopping it up with them made all the more possible for me to say, okay, let's work together. Now, the third thing you want to do is you want to amplify. You definitely want to amplify, okay? Amplify your effort. Just promote. Celebrate your audience wins. Share the success. We talked about this, right? All right, so recommend a business. Introduce them to others who could help them. You might be in the process of getting leads, but Donovan over here might be in the process of marketing. Pam knows how to use Instagram to get the ads going. See, these are the things. You build a community of like-minded people, and if this community becomes the army that needs for everybody to be successful. Think about this. The Circle of CEOs down in Atlanta is a conglomerate of minority males, and then they added some minority females. So it's a minority group that bounces ideas off each other. And if somebody's looking for something, it's not about the check. They pass it along. Hey, one guy is an event space person. The other guy runs a trucking business. One person was looking for something to be hot. You need to go here. I'm going to introduce you to this guy. Somebody needed their credit fix. Oh, I'm going to introduce you to this young lady. With no hesitation. They're not looking for no kickback. They're looking to build up their tribe, their community, their conglomerate. All right. So quit being gatekeepers and start understanding this is why things like this happen. All right. So another thing we need to talk about is the conversational bridge. This conversational bridge is from engagement of sales. Now, here's what everybody wants to know. How does engagement actually turn into paying clients? The answer is what I call the conversational bridge. It's a series of micro communications that naturally lead people from stranger to paying client. Step number one is the attraction of interest. When you engage with somebody, they genuinely become interested in what you're talking about. But that's attention is not enough. You need to speak or spark genuine interest. This helps people think, finally, someone who gets me, someone who gets it. All right. Step number two is, interest to trust. You want to take the trust and build it through consistency and competence. You're consistently showing up with valuable insights, and you demonstrate competence by helping them with their small wins. So that goes a long way. And a lot of people just don't understand that. That goes a tremendously long way. Then there's the trust to desire. See, once they trust you, and if you listen to any one of my episodes before, we talk about trust a lot. We talk about trust building authority a lot. Once they trust you, they don't need to desire the transformation you offer. They gotta want the desire for that transformation. This happens when you paint a clear picture, all right, of what the life could look like by showing them the path to get them there. Then you go to the desire to action. That's the final step in helping them take action. This isn't about pressure or manipulation. It's about making it easy for them to say, yes, changing my life is a hell of an idea. All right. So here's how that works. Jay noticed that a woman in his audience kept posting about feeling stuck in DJing, starting to dislike it. Instead of immediately pitching the coaching program on how she could fix her problem, he did this. He created a 5-day email sequence called the 5 signs of it's time to make your career move. In each email, he shared a personal story and gave one specific action step. At the end of the series, he invited the person to a free 30-minute triage call. And it was just to get some clarity for their career. On these calls, he genuinely helped people get clarity, not pitched. He didn't pitch nothing. And then naturally, the people asked, how do I work with you for more of this information? And that's the framework. So the result is he went from Basically, he helped somebody go from a struggling DJ to getting multiple gigs and being able to walk away with corporate contracts. Can you imagine? 1 minute you're making 50,000 a year to securing 5 or 6 corporate contracts, elevating your game as a professional DJ. Not just going to the club, but corporate events. You know, corporate events, they have events 8 to 10 times a year. Can you imagine getting 10 grand 8 to 10 times a year from one job, from one company? Imagine you got 5 of them. So you're getting 100K. Let's throw this out there for Anthem. You're getting 100K from Anthem. And then all of a sudden, Pepsi calls you and say, hey, we've been hearing about you. You missed a couple, but we got 7, 8 more events. Can we sign you on? We're not going to mess with your schedule. So you're getting 100K from them. Now you don't went from her, you got 80K. So that's 180K. That's 2 people. That's more than some people make in a year. And then add 3 or 4 or 5, 6, 7, 8 more of those. And you'll see what I'm talking about. So let's get into this, man, because we got to talk about this. Common engagement mistakes that kill conversations. Now, before we wrap this up, I want to share the biggest mistakes I see coaches making with their audience engagement. Number one mistake, first mistake is they broadcast instead of conversing. You're not a radio station. All right. Do your follow-up, get the questions, show genuine interest. Number two, the second mistake is being everything to everyone. You don't need to. Focus on your niche. Niche it down. Be specific inside of your niche. If you are a specialist in lead generation, that's what you need to be helping your coaches with. All right. Now, number three, focus on a vanity of metrics. Check the metrics. Man, if you look on your YouTube, you will see, like for me, since I've been using Opus Clip, my video views since January have gone up to, I got 80,000 views. And that's just posting one video a week. What happens if I post 3 to 5 videos a week and chop them up into shorts? I'm getting 10 to 15 shorts per video. So can you imagine? I take 3 videos, chop them up, and I'm getting 15 per video. That's 45 shorts that can post Monday through Sunday, because we are launching 3 videos a week, right? So for every day, you get to the first day. If I launch on Monday, I'm going to take the shorts, chop them up, captions and all of that. Opus Clip does that from Monday to Monday for the next video. If we launch a YouTube video on Wednesday, from Wednesday to Wednesday. We launch one on Friday, from Friday to Friday. 45 videos in a week. All right. Focus on the metrics. All right. And mistake number 4, that they give up too soon. You can't just give up because something doesn't work the first time. You know those saying, if it doesn't work the first time, try again. But, the relationship takes time. You didn't give up on your lady. Took out on a date. You took her to whatever restaurant it is. I don't know why people say Ruth Chris all the time. It's Mortenson's, Steak and Bourbon, Oliver's, Lemu. These are the spots in my city that are worthy of taking people to. All right. And then last but not least, making it about you. You can't make this about you. This ain't about me. This is about you. All right. So I want you, my story and my methods is my story and my method. I need you to tell yours. You want the transformation? Let's get you to that point. All right. So that's it, man. Let's talk about something. Let's talk about that. If you're serious about building a thriving coaching business and getting your audience engaged, this is very essential. Remember, we're not talking about social media engagement. We're talking about building genuine relationships with people who need what you offer. Here's what I want you to think about or do this week. Pick 10 people in your current audience and have a real conversation with them. Create a piece of content using the value method and share it. And then implement the 5-5-5 rule. All right. Now, you know what you got to do. Get ready. The Legacy Builders Network is coming. We here. We're going to build this network. All right. Check us out on the Solopreneur Chronicles podcast.com to get some of the other information that you might be missing. Follow us on IG. All right. Because listen, follow us on IG. Solopreneur Chronicles PC. I am Anthony Porter. On all of this is IG. Where you going to find me at? See, in the community, we're going to make sure we give you those templates. We're going to make sure we give you those challenges. We're going to make sure we're going to push you. All right. So just join for free, man. Maybe somewhere down the line we get into some other stuff. But right now, just join for free. Get in for free. It's coming July the 1st. You will be ready. And so again, I appreciate you stopping by, spending your time with me. I'm very, very pleased with how everything is going. But I want you to be very, very, very excited for the next 6 months of 2025, because we got to get to that point where we all are making some good money. All right. You with me? You with me? Now, until next week, I want to see you do what you got to do. Let's talk. You know what? Let's talk about how to price your coaching services and to make some actual money. All right. Let's talk about that. Next week's episode, that's what it's going to be about. Okay? Man, keep it genuine. Keep it popping. Listen, we want to attract, convert, deliver. That's the game plan. All right? I'm going to see y'all when y'all see y'all, man. This is your boy, Mr. Anthony Porter, Solopreneur Chronicles podcast, Legacy Builders Network, Amplified Digital Academy. We out of here. Peace.